Okay, now we want to look at some main ideas or themes of the book and the structure of the book. There are two hugely important repeated ideas in this book, and it's important to realize them and to really look at them as you're going through the book. The first one is the repeated phrase, all is vanity. And this is the idea that human life and effort or toil are temporary and without any meaning or hope. And then the second phrase is under the sun. And this refers to the physical life, the earthly life viewpoint apart or in contrast with the view of God. So some of the main themes that you can look at, there are others, but these are just some suggestions. Of course, the first one is the vanity of life, that life is meaningless and pointless. And also the contrast between man, who would be seen through the phrase under the sun, versus God, which kind of the idea of over the sun. Even though the text does not include this, there is that contrast there. So under the sun is the idea of searching for the meaning of life in this earthly temporary realm. But in the end it comes to nothing, only hopelessness. It is life without God. But on the other hand, the author does present some shorter verses that refer to life with God, and that there can be enjoyment in life. Another possible theme is death. You know, the author shows over and over how any advantage in life, any wealth, any possessions that the person has gained in their life, in the end, they're meaningless because of death. Nobody can control when the day of death comes, whether they're wise or they're foolish. Death is coming. Death is sometimes seen even as the ultimate equalizer because there's injustice in this world, but in the end, death makes everybody at the same level. And sometimes it seems like the teacher views that there's not even life after death. It's just death is it. Another possible theme is toil or wealth, and how much man works and works very hard, but in the end it comes to nothing. All is vanity. And another theme is wisdom versus foolishness. You know, the author shows over and over how wisdom is better, more desirable than foolishness, but in the end both the wise and the foolish die. So now we come to the structure of Ecclesiastes. Well, you can look in 100 different commentaries and come up with 100 different structures. There's no definite structure, so don't spend a lot of time on this. Because it is wisdom literature, there's numerous ways to divide it or to categorize the material. There is, though, a very simple outline that we can see, and that is a prologue in Ecclesiastes 1, verse 1 through 11, and then you have the body or the author's main message, observations, conclusions, and then you have the epilogue in Ecclesiastes 12, verse 8 through 14. So the prologue and epilogue are in the first person, and then the body of Ecclesiastes is in the first person. So the introduction and the conclusion are made in the epilogue and the prologue. It's also important to note that the preacher usually starts with an observation, or he starts with I saw or I considered, and then he lists his opinions or his comments and his reflection on what he observed or he saw. Ecclesiastes is a book of tension, a book of contrast. The preacher, as we said before, shows one side, one viewpoint, one worldview, and then straight after sometimes shows the other side. So this can make the book confusing or a misunderstanding for books. So realize as you're going through it that it is a book of tension.